Wow, we got some dull spring kind of rainy sort of day here on this April the 21st, 2021 or 2, whatever the hell the date is. Welcome everybody to Season 3, Episode 16 now of Niagara 411 Live with Sterry. That's me. We are fueled by Gales Gas Bars. We are supported by Performance Heating and Air, as well as Verge Insurance Group in St. Catharines. We are powered by WeeStream, Canada's premier streaming company. And we are housed, thank goodness, today, out of the rain, at Fiddler's Poorhouse, your wonderful eatery here in downtown St. Catharines at 149 St. Paul Street. We're going to talk with a couple whose business experienced that horrible, horrible fire on Beaver Dams Road about a week ago, about 12th of April or so. And some other interesting people coming up. There's a big comedy festival coming to St. Catharines. David Green will be here, and a few others. In the meantime, let's get out of the rain and come on in here and get ourselves settled for episode 16 of Niagara 411 Live with Lee. Now, the reason the sunglasses are on, you're saying, okay, yeah, you talked about rain, you talked about clouds and everything. Well, I got one of those sets of eyes that when the air hits them, I start to water. I didn't want you to think I was crying about anything. Okay, so in about 30 seconds, we'll bring you up to date with what's going on. Welcome to the show. And again, welcome to Season 3, Episode 16 of Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry. Happy to be here and make your acquaintance once again as we roll through a very strange April weather-wise. The good news is, I heard today, that the CAA is advising that now you can safely switch your tires from winter to summer. That's a good sign. And also I want to, before we go any further, I want to thank the folks, Kevin Neufeld and the gang at Beau Chapeau Hat Shop in Niagara-on-the-Lake, for being able to keep my follically challenged dome dry and protected in this rather crappy weather. This is one of their fine all-weather fedoras. And happy to have them helping me help you stay dry, or helping me, whatever. Anyway, Kevin, Jack, ladies and gentlemen, he was on the screen, there he is. Kevin Jack, executive producer of the program, co-founder of WeeStream, who powers this program, and always happy to work with Kevin. Nice to see you're supporting the sponsors with the chapeau of your own there. That's good.
Absolutely, and I'm doing right now, Lee, is I'm on my phone and I'm sharing the post, and I encourage people to do that. Let everybody know about all the great stuff that we do here.
You know what? I'm going to do that. So if here's what we're going to walk through this process just quickly. First of all, I logged onto my own Facebook page. Then I searched for Niagara 411, which I have up in front of me here on my ye old laptop. So then I go up and I refresh that so that I have the new feed. And oh, look, there we are. So in order to share it to anybody that I want to share to, all I do is click share like this. Poof, share now, boom. Ta-da! So we would encourage that you do the same thing. It'll help all of us and all of our businesses around Niagara, including Nick at Niagara 411. Thank you, Nick, for, again, sharing your content with us, and great to be your partner. Nick's mom, hello. And Kevin, now I want to back up. to where you had that graphic piece on the screen right at the very beginning. Sorry, I kind of took you sideways there. But this is something, anytime you're talking about schools and your kids, it gets your attention. And this is kind of a strange story that is still circulating around Niagara. Now, this just goes back to yesterday. The Niagara Regional Police Service, with assistance from members of the public, identified and located the individual responsible for publishing the social media post that caused community concern in relation to Niagara schools. This individual, a 14-year-old, admitted to publishing the post on Snapchat after hearing a rumor from a friend about an individual planning to stab students. The friend, a 16-year-old high school student, also identified and located by police, who alleged to have heard the unsubstantiated rumor. No arrests are expected at this time. So this sort of falls into that category of a social media prank. But pranks that got people very, very concerned, and rightfully so, because the concept of stabbing and or injuring students in schools certainly doesn't fall into a category of humor or funny or practical joke or any of that stuff. It's very, very serious because of all of the things that you know of well that have happened, mostly in the U.S., but sometimes here as well. So it does not appear that there is any current danger or alarm to be felt by this situation. It was just one of those prankster type things.
So, Lee, if you're wondering what parents and families were concerned about yesterday, I mean, this was the post, and I guess you got to take this stuff seriously.
Yeah, for anyone that goes to my school,
can you read that?
Linwell St. Catharines, is that it? Pelham?
In Welly.
Oh, in Welly St. Kitts. Yeah. There we go. Or Port, or any school near that. There has been a teenage boy going around schools threatening and stabbing students. He is armed and very dangerous. If seen, then please report to the police or the principal immediately. He's dressed in all red and seen walking around with tackle box. He was going to E.L. Crosley and then Eastdale. If he hasn't been to E.L. Crosley, then he is going there next, and then Eastdale. Be safe out there. Please post this and repost. So, but that actually was not happening in reality. So.
No. Now, I think the police make a pretty good point in one of their final paragraphs there.
While social media can be an excellent tool for immediate and widespread dissemination of critical information, it can also have an adverse effect when the information is not verified. When weighing the legitimacy of information seen on social media, members of the public are encouraged to seek out official sources such as the NRPS. That's a long-winded way of saying the internet can be used for good or bad. It can be used for good or evil, and it's you gotta know your sources. You have to double check it. You can't panic. You can't overreact, but you can't underreact either. I mean, that's the catch-22 that we're in. We ignore these things out of hand at our peril. Oh, that's a scam. That's not happening. Right? And then all of a sudden you realize, wow, it was happening. But this in this case, it was not. So again, check your sources. Make sure you follow the NRPS. Make sure you get alerts for things that they publish, because they throw stuff out there on a regular basis for people that do follow them. It does show up on Niagara 411, the things that the NRPS puts out about this kind of activity or lack of activity, for the lack of a better word. So there you go.
It was kind of scary as I was following along in the comments yesterday. I mean, it didn't seem real, but again, you can't ignore, and the police didn't ignore, and they did their due diligence and at least found the culprit. So just if you think when you're posting on social media that there's some sort of anonymity, the cops got tools. Lee, just want to intervene here. I know we got a guest coming up in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Sandra has clicked on to join the show. Sandra, if you want to come talk, I just need to see your face. Right now, the camera's kind of just pointing up at the sky, but it gives us another opportunity to remind people that the show is wide open.
It is wide open, and while you are watching this, as it says on the bottom of your screen, all you have to do is click the Zoom link in the post. See that? Right. Okay. You know what I mean. Okay. And while we're waiting for Sandra to maybe get herself lined up, I want to tell you what's coming up on the program today. You will remember that on April the 12th, there was a major fire, a tragic fire on Beaver Dams Road in Feulled. One of the businesses that was severely and tragically affected was Medić Automotive, and we talked about Kassandra and DJ Medić, whose business was decimated by this. I reached out to them last week, and they just weren't ready because of all the things that were going on and what had to be done, and the trauma they were going through, and understandably so. But Kassandra and DJ are going to be joining us today in a few minutes, and we're going to be talking about and get an update about that major and devastating fire that happened last week on Beaver Dams Road in Feulled. Also coming up is James Ponce, or Ponce. I'm not exactly sure how James pronounces his last name. That'll be one of the first questions that we ask him. He's the co-organizer of the Niagara Falls 420 Expo that happens this Saturday at the Niagara Falls Convention Center. And this is kind of an interesting thing because, I mean, the 420 Expo is not something that's new. The concept of 420 is certainly not anything that is new. But what is new is that this is the first such event to be held with a public nature through after COVID, etc., since the use of cannabis has been legalized. It's kind of a whole different environment we're working in here. And it's different. So anyway, James is coming up at about 12:45. And our pal David Green is coming by. Something that I believe, Kevin and I were talking about this a little bit earlier off the air before we came on, is the fact that this is something that we believe, Kevin and I believe, and I'm sure David probably does too, could become a really big deal for Niagara going down the road. This is another version of the Garden City Comedy Festival, and there are some great talents that are coming in for this, and David Green is going to be joining us a little after 1 o'clock today on the program. So that's our official lineup. You can fit yourself in at any given moment in time. Just as I said, click on that link, and I hope that you got through the week without any serious damage from the wind. Kevin, when I was out doing my dog walking this week, which I do every day, it was almost like I felt I had to play dodgeball with some of the branches that were falling off trees. There was some major trees came down in my area. I don't know about out there in the elegant estates that you live in out in the west side, but in my area there were trees like plopping down all over the place, and houses. I don't know how trees know where to fall, but there was one massive tree on Lakeshore Boulevard that I saw. It was right at the end of Aquadale and Lakeshore. This tree, I swear to God, had to have some sort of a benevolent nature in and of itself, because it came down in just exactly the right spot to not do any serious damage to somebody's cars or homes or other possessions. Like, it couldn't have fallen, if it was going to fall, it could not have fallen in a better place. And how do trees know this? I don't know. But apparently some of them do. So, but this was a massive old growth, and how it came out, I don't know. But man, it was the wind was something else, Kevin.
And as always, Nick and the Niagara 411 community was on it. I was following along and seeing the down power lines out on out by Marineland and then North End St. Catharines. We lost some branches and stuff. One of the big trees that kind of heading down, into a 15-mile creek. One of those went over, but other than that, pretty much unscathed.
And we got lucky. We didn't miss any power. Again, here's the dog walking thing. I learn a lot when I'm out walking my dog. I meet all kinds of people and find out stories. This guy's cleaning up the branches just around the corner from where I live, and he says, "Did you lose power?" I said, "No, not at all." He said, "We were out for hours. We had the candles and the fake heat and like the whole thing going on, and it was just around the corner from me." Boy, I got lucky. I'm usually on the other side of the fence. I'm on the unlucky side. But anyway, hopefully you weathered the storm and you didn't have too much damage going on.
Lee, just updating the program here. Sandra, you just have to get yourself set. So we'll get to you in maybe 5 or 10 minutes, but we'll let you lurk in the background. We got DJ and Kassandra here, and that was that big fire. Devastated some families, some family-run businesses, and I think it was a sunny, clear Tuesday last week. It could be seen right across Niagara.
Oh, yeah, the pictures were amazing. Okay, DJ, Kassandra Medić, thanks for joining us here. First of all, let me say we are so sorry, along with you, of what you've had to go through since as of April the 12th. How are you guys doing?
Oh, I think we might be... are you guys muted on your end?
Uh-oh.
Let me figure this out, Lee.
All right. We'll get her done. So, yeah, where we wanted to go with this, and we will as soon as we hook up, get our audio working with DJ and Kassandra, is what got my attention was this post. Let me find it here. This amazed me. This was posted by Kassandra, and she sent this note to Nick at Niagara 411 while the fire was burning. Now you can imagine the emotions that are running wild in your system when you see something of yours that is burning down. It says, "Hey Nick, you may remember from previous emails, I'm an RN here in the region. We own Medić Automotive, one of the shops inside of this fire. It's still burning. Please post thanking the firefighters. They're doing an amazing job trying to contain this, and NRP keeping the roadway clear, so a big thanks to them. Feel free to post this on behalf of Medić Automotive, Inc., Kassandra and DJ." Hi guys, do we have you now?
I think so.
We do. Awesome. First of all, again, welcome to the program. Kassandra, let me start with that post that I just read of yours. I wanted to say how amazing that was, that someone going through the emotional upheaval that you were going through at that time would post something like that, thanking the service workers. And I guess it's probably stems from you being an RN yourself, right?
Yeah, I have a real appreciation, given the line of work that I'm in, for how important those services are, and what an operation. I've even said that since then. Yeah. They had so many firefighters there and like a command center going, and I just can't believe the amount of resources that it took, but we're so thankful for them.
Well, that's awesome. Now, DJ, Medić Automotive is, although you're in this together as a partnership, of course, this is basically your baby, right?
It was my baby, yeah.
Yeah. Describe to me what Medić Automotive was, or is, if you will.
Well, I specialize in European vehicles, so high performance stuff, engine work, basically full maintenance in European stuff.
As in repair.
Repair, performance, upgrades, anything.
Detailing and all that stuff?
No, I do not do body work, and I don't go into detailing. Those are two things I stay away from.
So how long was your business in operation?
20 since August 2019. So
yeah, so 3 years or so, almost 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
So what is now? There were a number of businesses in that building, in that structure. You don't own the whole structure, correct?
No. I was just renting the front portion of the shop.
Okay. Have you received any information about how the fire started?
Not yet, really. We know where it started, how it started. We don't really know.
Where did it start?
In the back.
In the
All
back.
the way in the back.
In the back where?
In the back of the building, in the scrapyard portion of in the scrap business.
Okay. So it didn't begin in your business, but it started in the back of the building.
All the way in the back and worked its way over to paving. From paving came to us in the front. Because the roof, once the roof caught fire, the roof was all tarred. So once the roof caught fire, it just kept burning, and there's nothing anyway.
Now, those great large plumes of dense black smoke that we saw looked to me like it was rubber burning. Is that right, or what was it that was causing that huge dense black cloud that we saw?
There's honestly, since basically the whole building in one way or the another had automotive equipment in there, so there was a lot of tires. I believe they were actually stored inside as well. The roof is tar. Everything that's in there is basically, once it catches fire, it's just meant to keep burning.
Wow. All right. So, and I know there were other businesses affected, but right now we're just talking about you guys. And so, was it completely destroyed? Was there anything salvageable, DJ, Kassandra, anything at all?
On my end, one uniform that I was wearing, untouched. And I don't know, let's say a few sets of sockets, and that's about it.
Okay.
Everything else is completely gone.
We spent part of the day yesterday trying to salvage what we could out of the toolboxes, but it's grim. There's a pretty significant loss for us.
Did you have clients' vehicles in there at the time?
Unfortunately, one, yes.
How do you deal with that?
Well, luckily, he's one of the best customers that I could ever wish to have. So we both at a loss, put it that way, because it was one of rare cars. But we just have to go through the insurance. That's really what it comes down to.
So your business and the building, et cetera, was properly insured. That's okay.
Yeah, we as far as we know now, everybody was insured that was in the building. So
awesome. So next steps? Can you do you rebuild? Do you what now? Where are we now?
With me is try to collect what I can and gather everything on a pile, what I have, to see what I have, what I don't have, and then the battle is with insurance and try to rebuild. The building, obviously, it's a different issue.
Right.
Building is owned by the paving company, by Sealands Paving. So I have a struggle, but trust me when I tell you, I think they're gonna have a mountain to climb to get their building back up to what it was and how it was.
Well, it's so how did have you estimated a dollar figure or a value of the impact of this for you?
For me, honestly, well, basically everything I had was gone. So I'm definitely under 100K, but for the rest of the guys, it's hard to say. You know?
Now there is a friend of yours. I don't know this lady, but a friend of yours by the name of Robin Knox has organized a fundraiser, a GoFundMe page for you. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so Robin is actually both of our friends, but she and I went to nursing, to university for nursing together. And she set that up knowing that there is a significant impact, financially to us while we await the funds to come from insurance or even some things that insurance may not cover. So we are so incredibly thankful for the community support that we've received already. That's really helping, keep us, our spirits lifted, knowing that, we're still able to function day to day with as minimal impact as possible.
Okay. And how do we find the page? Where do we go? People want to help out, et cetera. How can we do that?
Yeah, so we actually both have the GoFundMe links on our Instagram, my personal Instagram, but also our business page, Medić Automotive. And then she's labeled it the Medić Automotive Tragedy, so we can find that on just if you search on GoFundMe as well. Okay. So linked on both Instagrams and social media.
And do you talk often with your other businesses, your fellow businesses that were in the building? How are they making out?
Difficult.
Yeah.
Difficult. The guys that had the back where this happened are barely to be seen, and us, they treated that place like it was our home. Yeah. We're here and we're trying to scavenge where we can, go back to normal as quickly as we can, and yeah, it's difficult in any way you spin it. It's something I don't wish to my worst enemy, to be honest with you.
I've mentioned this before, and I mean, as we say, knock on wood, I have never, and my family has never had to experience the tragedy that is fire, and I can't think of anything that is more totally devastating and destructive
absolutely
than fire. Yeah. It's just, you just lose everything in a blink of an eye. And you're helpless to do anything about it. And our hearts go out to you people. It's just, God, I can't imagine. But I've heard so many people that tell stories about having, whether it's a residence or whether it's a business or a car or whatever it is.
It doesn't matter.
It's so, fire is just such a devastating thing.
Yeah.
A colleague at work actually said, fire is so final. And that just really, it's true. It's final. There's nothing to be, barely anything to scavenge from it or save. Yeah,
no, there's no coming back.
Right.
Anyway, thank you for joining us. I know you guys have been through a lot emotionally, and I really hope so. So, DJ, in your heart of hearts, when you go to bed at night and you close your eyes, the last thought. Are you rebuilding? You're going to do this again? You love it that much that are you going to do it again? If you can?
Got some plans if I can. With this real estate market and everything, it's going to be so hard to find a place actually that's, so to say, affordable to begin with. And then, then tooling and everything went up. Everything just cost so much more. So I'll see. Definitely, I'll keep my Instagram posted. I'll keep it up to date and let my customers know what's going on. But for right now, I just have to recuperate as much as I can and gather as much as I can. And we go one day at a time.
Kassandra, are you still working in our healthcare system? You still working as an RN?
Yeah. Thank goodness, that's been able to take my mind off things as well. But yes, I am. I work in the Welland site.
Okay.
In the ICU there.
Well, I know from our conversation before you joined us, I know you're headed over to the site right now, and this is a tragedy and a nightmare that you live with 24/7 these days. And we really hope that it comes full circle and you guys dig yourself out of this, and everybody cooperates, and the insurance does, and all this stuff, because it's got to be a huge burden to bear. And thanks for joining us today. Keep us posted, will you? I know you will, through 411 and whatnot, and we'll check back in with you in a little while when you keep us posted as things develop. We'll let folks know what's going on. Okay?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Man, thanks to both of you, Kassandra and DJ Medić, Medić Automotive, from that building. Kevin, you mentioned earlier that a lot of people know that building is like 406 Auto Parts. It was kind of the brand, if you will, of that building for years. and but a lot of different businesses involved.
I think they were the largest tenants, but I always noticed Sealands and Son, I think, paving, and I think
the paving place.
Yeah, I think DJ mentioned that they might actually own the building, but I think the largest tenant was the 406 Auto Parts, and he was saying it seemed that it happened back in the scrapyard. But man, just devastating fire that touches families just like that right here in Niagara.
Ruins lives, ruins businesses, hurts the economy. There's just sort of a never-ending stream of tragedy that comes from things like that. So thanks to the medics for joining us. Did we connect with Sandra at all, or is she still out there wailing around in the...
Yeah, we'll get to her in just a second.
Okay.
Figured an opportunity now just to thank our sponsors, and we've also got an update on the 420 Expo coming up. 420 was yesterday, Lee, did you know?
I did know that. Because today is 421, and it's my son's birthday.
And
It is also the birthday of Her Majesty the Queen. Yeah, so there you go. Gales Gas Bars, thank you for fueling this program. And you notice those pretty rainbow bars at the top of that post? Well, that indicates that Gales Gas Bars are an LGBT plus registered business in Niagara, in Ontario, in Canada, which is a real feather in their cap. It means that their employees, irrespective of their orientation, and their customers, are treated with respect and honor and all of those things that everyone deserves. So it's a pretty cool thing. Also, Gales, they're trailblazers in Niagara for a lot of reasons, and in the province as a whole for this, in the fact that they are Ontario's only registered living wage employer in the petroleum industry. Like, think about that for a second. And you've heard about the living wage concept, the concept being that the level, irrespective of minimum wage, et cetera, the level at which their employees are paid, if you are an hourly worker, will represent what is a living wage in the Niagara region where these people are employed. And so Gales is a recognized living wage employer in Niagara, and the only one in the petroleum industry in Ontario, which is, that's kind of cool. Very cool, as a matter of fact. Also, Performance Heating and Air, Carlo and the gang, thank you so much for also supporting us. Verge Insurance Group, Mark Shirk, Blake Shirk, and your group, another born and bred Niagara business. And keep in mind when it's time at this time of year to make sure that all of your heating and air conditioning in particular, as we head into the warmer weather, is important. That Performance Heating and Air guys are local. They have families here too, so they're trying to save you and them money at the same time. And Verge Insurance Group, anything and everything that you need to do with regard to your insurance, home, car, whatever. Content insurance if you're a renter, all kinds, a business owner, and this story that we were just talking about is a prime example of, insurance. Yeah, I know it is what it is. It's a fact of life, but don't leave home without it. You need to be protected.
Lee, just want to update a couple things here. You can come down and see the show in person, of course, because we are live at Fiddler's Poorhouse. We've got a dance competition taking place at the Performing Arts Center, so it might be a busy afternoon here. And then tonight at the Meridian Center, jam-packed for the Glorious Sons. So, get here early if this is where you want to have your pregame meal at Fiddler's Poorhouse, but you can come by now and say hi to Mel. You can join the program that way. And, of course, you can also join the program virtually, as Lee points out right at the bottom there. Join the show live via video chat. Just click the Zoom link in the post, and we'll get you on the show.
It's so easy. All you need is on your device, be it a laptop, be it a PC, phone, whatever. All you need is a working camera, working microphone. Make sure they're both turned on, and there you go.
And that's how Sandra joins us today on the program.
Hello, Sandra.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm not too bad. Thanks
Good.
for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Now that we can see you and hear you and all that other stuff, what can we do for you today?
Well, I just want to say quickly, I had an iPad trying to hook up to the site and it didn't work. So then I had to go to the iPhone and tape everything up so that it's in one place, not all over the place.
Okay.
So it was a little bit of a job to get that done. So the reason I wanted to share today or speak today, I'm a mother. I have 3 grown children, and I have 6 grandchildren.
Wow.
And I'm a social worker by profession. I went to university when I was 41, and I graduated 6 years later with a degree, certificate, social service certificate, a Bachelor of Arts and Community Studies degree, and a Bachelor of Social Work degree. So I was a late in life going back to school, but certainly not regretted. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about is children. And everybody out there knows that children need to be protected, that they're innocent children, and that we have to, even double up on that security for our children because of the world the way it is today.
Agreed.
Myself, I was subjected to abuse when I was 10 years old. And 2 years prior to that, I just want to touch on this very quickly because it was a traumatic experience as well for me, but and it had to do with children and sleeping overs, and they all do that. We all did that, like slept over each other's houses and things like that.
Right.
But when I was 8 years old, this one particular night, I wanted to sleep with my girlfriend, my playmate, and my mother would not let me sleep over because her mother was not going to be home, and the teenagers were babysitting.
Okay.
So what ended up happening was later on, a fire broke out. I was still up crying, thinking I could get my mother to change her mind. But a fire broke out in the house next door, and the 3 children, my playmate, who was 8, and her 2 brothers, 9 and 10, they all died in fire.
Oh.
Yeah, horrific. And my mother, if she had not have refused me so adamantly, I would have been there too. I would have died in the fire.
Terrible
So
story.
that was very traumatic. And my mother tried to, do things to keep my mind in other places afterwards that she could. I became a brownie, and then I went on to take piano lessons. So she was trying to, soften that traumatic experience.
Yeah, right.
So 2 years, when I was 10, which was just 2 years later, God took her with breast cancer. So she died when I was 10. And at that age, it was, equally traumatic again. And so I was the youngest of 6 children. I was the baby of the family, right? So I was 10 when she passed on. I had an older sister who was 12 years older. And I think my mother died thinking I was going to be looked after and cared for because I was going with my sister.
Right.
But my brother-in-law was a predator. And I was constantly running away from this man or the home. Like I couldn't sleep. There was so many things. But I don't want to get into...
And remind me, at this stage you were how old?
I was 10 years old when
10.
I went to go live with my brother-in-law and my sister.
Okay.
And she was a school teacher, but she was also teaching all day. And then after school, she'd go take courses to upgrade her license. So she was never home.
Okay.
But he was home all the time because he was off work from the pit. So it was just a very, very, very difficult thing for a child to deal with.
Understood. So the message, the point of you reaching out to us today is what?
Well, in the past couple of days, I've been doing research on the internet to find out what the charges people would get for this, that, and all these things. Yeah. And I just want to run through labels because this is sexual assault is labeled in so many different ways. And from my own personal perspective, 50 years into it, he died this past February. And I thought to myself, I'm free now. but it wasn't that at all. I had a major upset because everything from the past came flooding back to me.
Okay.
So, but the reason I want to go on about this a little bit more, I want to name the labels, because everything is labeled, right? Through the system, through the whatever. I can't think right now of that.
No,
but anyway,
I understand what you're saying. People are categorized, things are labelized, things are
justification.
Are branded. People fit into sections. I get that. Okay.
Yeah.
Go.
So the labels that I wrote down were sexual assault, sexual interference, sexual exploitation, sexual abuse, touching, child pornography, sex trafficking, molestation, pedophilia, and there's probably more that I didn't catch,
Okay.
But the thing is, these are all labeled sex offense kinds of things. To me, once a person invades your personal space in a very sexual way, then it encompasses all of these things. There's not one, there should be just one. Okay, you do this, then that's it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And, the offenders come from all walks of life. They could be a teacher, a businessman, alcohol and drug addicted person, a person with a sex addiction. Somebody that I had one I read that they were deep in debt, and that's why they did what they did. I mean, so unbelievable. So the themes that I come up with were repeaters, because there's, they give a sentence and then there's no repeats. The people go out and repeat what they just did. They're people with prior convictions. And there's people that fail to comply with their probation.
Sandra, can I interrupt you for a second?
Sorry. Yes. Please.
All of these things that you're speaking of are incredibly important. And the stories you've told us are heart-wrenching, and I'm sure they happen every day somewhere in our society to someone, and it's horrible. Now, with all due respect, though, I'm still not sure where we're going with this. Are you giving us an abuse seminar, or is there a point that we're trying to get to here today with this conversation? Like, if we're going to, because we have other things to do today. God bless you. Yes. God bless you. But can we wrap this up in a bow somehow?
Well, I could write
Where
a book
are we going?
or a seminar or any of those things you just said, right?
Yeah.
But my biggest reason for sitting here today and sharing what I can,
yes,
within the time frame that I have,
yes,
is to put in more awareness out there. I know parents are aware of things, but are they aware enough?
Okay.
It's not enough if one child is sexually assaulted.
All right. That's
basically the crutch of it.
That gets me to where I thought we needed to get to, and that is the fact that going all the way back to that story that you were talking about when your mom said that you weren't able to go over and stay do an overnighter with your friend with her parents not there, and that was a good decision that she made. So make good decisions. Don't necessarily hesitate to disappoint your child for the right reasons, and keep aware of things. Sandra, thank you very much for being here today. I appreciate your experience. I appreciate your passion, and hopefully that message will sink in. So thanks for being here.
Lee?
Yes?
Lee, can I just say one more list of things?
You may.
And then I'll be done, because it's coming from my perspective as a child.
Okay.
And how the things I felt during those years. Okay.
Yep.
And as a little child, 10 and up, so I was fearful. You lose trust, because I told my aunt, I told my grandmother, and I got sent to Newfoundland and New Brunswick. I told the guidance counselor at school about it, and that was ignored because he was a colleague of my sister who was a teacher. I felt shameful. I was stressed. I was running away. It was a flight risk all the time. I would run away. I had sleep problems, early independence because I had to do things, adult responsibilities, childhood crushed, fear of authority figures, school grades affected, negativity, body image, experimenting in stimulants when I was in Newfoundland and New Brunswick to fit in, personal lacking in personal care, and trying to fit in, and bullying. So those are just a list of 16 things. I could have went on, but like
I think
for
16.
me, like
I think 16 pretty much paints the picture.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah.
And that's basically what I wanted to get out to the people that are
thank you.
listening. And I hope they are. And I hope they do the extra mile for their children.
Well, we do too.
Never assume anything. Never assume that everything is okay.
Thanks,
Always
Sandra.
double check.
Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you, Lee.
Okay.
Thank you, Lee. Thanks. Thank
Cheers.
you.
Bye.
Lee, I mean, I've got 2 young children, and something that parents were talking about was that strange situation at the convention center.
That is a
last weekend during the and I'll let you kind of talk about it a little bit, and I'll get James lined up here to talk about
the two young girls, the sisters.
No, I could put that one up. I'll tell you about this one, and then I'll throw that up while I get James ready.
Yeah.
Last weekend, there was a cheerleading competition going on at the convention center.
Yes.
And one of the guys that I think worked a concession attempted on 2 different occasions on the Saturday night to abduct one of the young girls that was there.
We had this
very fearful.
We had this on the list to chat about last week, and we actually never got to it. But there was that really large cheerleading squad competition going on at the convention center, and there was this fellow, and he wasn't very old, was he? He was like 20-ish.
Yeah, I want to say 19.
19, 20, yeah. That approached a young girl. I think she was about 10 or something of that nature, and tried to lead her out of the building, and. You know, being a bright young girl, she didn't do this, but people were watching this fellow, and he tried this on maybe 2 or 3 other occasions, and the parents and coaches, et cetera, mainly the coaches of these teams, because they're charged with the health and safety and care of the young people that are in their squads. And so they were paying, and rightfully so, attention to this fellow, and approached him, and just sort of, I guess you want to say, formed a safety phalanx around their girls and guys, and it was great that they did that. And the reason that I wanted to bring it up last week was. These coaches, be it cheerleading, baseball, hockey, whatever it is, they have a lot going on, and there's a lot of things. There's a lot of hoopla. There's a lot of confusion, and everybody's wound up, and things can easily slip through the cracks in these kinds of tournaments or gatherings or competitions. And for the coaches to really pay that kind of attention to these girls and sort of head this what could have been tragic situation off at the pass, I wanted to really say thank you to them and say good on you for paying attention.
Yeah. Now, Lee, there's also this story, and we can get to this in maybe 10 or 15 minutes because so many comments on this and
this
the
one is
interpretation.
weird. This is just weird.
So,
but we'll talk about that. 2 girls, sisters, went into a store. Fellow driving the other way turned around, came in, offered. Anyway, there was sort of a funny interaction there, and we will talk about that later. Do we have James standing by? All right, Niagara Falls 420 Expo happening this weekend, and James. Now, James, first of all, clarify for me. How do I say your last name?
Ponce.
Ponce. Okay, cool. Because I had a lady that was a friend of mine in Winnipeg, and it was spelled the same way she pronounced the name Ponce, so I didn't want to mess it up.
Okay, no, it's actually it's Spanish, so it's actually Ponce, but
Ponce?
I just say Ponce.
Okay.
Yeah, Ponce makes it easier.
All right, so I'm still not that far off track then.
No.
You're the co-organizer, excuse me, of the 420 Expo in Niagara Falls. First of all, tell me who you are. What's your background? What do you do? Who's a James Ponce?
I'm a local entrepreneur, along with my business partner, Chris Dabrowski. We organize and run several events throughout the Niagara region and across Ontario. We have a couple, we also do a Hamilton Comic-Con, events like that. So we actually run the Niagara Falls Comic-Con here in Niagara, Frightmare in the Falls, the Niagara Falls 420 Expo, which we also have a third partner in Matt Anthony. We also have run, Niagara Falls Beer Festival in the past, concerts, a little bit of everything. So, as well as online memorabilia companies.
So this is the first year in a while that you guys have been able to do sort of a full-blown expo like this, isn't it?
Absolutely. Our last one for the cannabis show was in 2019, and it was about, I want to say about 3.5 or 4 weeks out when the province shut everything down from the second edition. So unfortunately, it's been quite a gap between shows for this one.
Isn't that weird that we're going to go through history, and that year of 2019 will be sort of like, if you dig it up in a time capsule or something, years from now, that year 2019 is going to be the year everything stopped. Like, it's going to be last time we did things, right? Just so strange.
Yeah, you're right. It's crazy to think that, we went through a historic event, or a historic, kind of worldwide situation that, and unfortunately it was the wrong side of history, but hopefully, 30, 40 years from now, we can look back and, say, wow, remember when?
Yeah.
Because, the world shutting down, who would have predicted that?
Okay, now, James, this leads me to the next important benchmark in this discussion is, okay, so the last major chance to do anything public and whatnot, 2019. Now we flash forward to 2022. In the interim, now cannabis is legal. So now this is actually not only the first one in 3 years, or 3.5 years, it is also the first one you guys have been able to do, to hold an expo about what is now a legal product. How weird does that feel?
You know what, Lee? It's not weird. It's just kind of, it's kind of blown up for us, which is really, really good. It's, it's more acceptable. It's mainstream.
Yeah.
Stores have opened, but it's actually funny. A lot of people don't realize the first in 2019, cannabis had already been legalized already for about 6 months, I believe it was.
Oh, okay.
Was open.
I lost track.
Choom was just getting open. So those were the first 2 stores in the region, obviously. There was one in each city.
Right.
I remember when they first did the licensing and lottery, it was one per city for the longest time. And then I believe it was last year, the year before, they opened it up.
Right.
And now there's, dozens per city. So it's been great to kind of see the industry boom. And the support has just been astronomical from vendors and fans and, ticket sales. So we're very happy to see the way the industry itself has grown, which has allowed us to grow as a show as well.
So tell us now about the expo itself. Let's bring this full circle to actually what we're talking about. The Niagara Falls 420 Expo. Give us the details. What can we expect? And just run down all the stats for us.
Okay, so the 420 Expo is a celebration of all things culture and cannabis community. When you arrive, the first thing you'll see vendors selling, memorabilia, paraphernalia, art. There's dozens and dozens and dozens of vendors, all with unique products that have to do with cannabis or, maybe are associated with. We have tie-dye T-shirts, a little bit of everything. We have local dispensaries on site as well, selling, all kinds of paraphernalia, pipes, bongs, everything. We've got seeds, everything you're allowed to legally have at an expo like ours, we have. There's an oversized gaming area where people can play giant-sized Jenga, chess, relax, whatever you like. We've got an 80s arcade machine session with about, there's over 20 arcade machines from the 80s, the old coin-op quarter machines. We've got dozens of free panels run by industry experts, local bud tenders. We've got, classes on home growing. We've got a chef, Jordan Wagman, who will teach how to cook and infuse butter and cannabis into your food healthy and safely. We've even got an outdoor patio where you can go outside, have a smoke, come back in, relax, go back out again later. That'll have it's got a bud tender bar where you can bust your own and roll. We've got picnic tables out there. We've got some acoustic local bands playing all day, providing entertainment for people out there on the patio. So it's really just one big a cannabis entertainment extravaganza. It's kind of our goal.
One of the things that I found interesting, it was going to be one of my questions to you, and by you running down some of the things that are happening, you sort of answered it for me. In the realm of education, because one of the things that I find interesting with these, be it a home show, a flower show, I don't care, landscape show, whatever it is, and this 420 Expo or whatever, a lot of people go there because they want to learn something. So obviously, this is a subject that a lot of people, and generationally, in a lot of cases, there's a lot about this subject that a lot of people don't quite understand. So, and so this sounds like it is going to be a place where there's some pretty good informational stuff coming out of it.
Absolutely. Our goal, especially with the panels, is for people to, one, have a great time and enjoy themselves, like live cooking demos, Canna Claus, events like that. But then we've also got educational seminars, like we said, home growing, how to infuse. We have local and actually worldwide influencers, such as Jackie Childs, who will be there teaching some of the healthy benefits of cannabis, as well as the way cannabis can affect sexual activity, mental activity. We have Watson Favaro, local cannabis consultants, teaching as well about some of the healthy benefits. They're actually a licensed practitioner that dispenses for medical reasons only. So there'll be tons of different things people can learn about and then have a good time. We've also got Jeremy and Jason London, twin brothers from Hollywood, who act in classics like Mallrats and Dazed and Confused. They'll be signing free autographs and taking selfies with fans. We've got former WWE diva Terry Runnels there as well, doing autographs and taking photos with wrestling fans. So, you can come have fun, meet a celebrity, then you can go learn how to grow at home, or learn how to get your bud tender's license by Sam from Sam's High Times. We have a little bit of everything for the cannabis fan.
Yeah, so it sounds great. One of the things that I would like to see, and it'll be interesting if you can draw some of the people in, the people that know absolutely nothing other than marijuana was illegal and now it's not. I mean, that's about the basic knowledge of marijuana bad, now marijuana good, cannabis bad, now cannabis good. What is this all about? I don't get it. And I hope some of those people show up, but it'll be interesting to see. And it'd be interesting to talk to you after the event to get a sense of what your attendance was like, I guess is where I'm going with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Our first one in 2019, believe it or not, there were a lot of people who were asking questions at the panels, about, we had one panel, I remember, where it was about investing in cannabis stocks. And there were people who said they're not familiar with the cannabis industry. Are there stocks to look at? What do you look for to people from investment firms that were there as well? We've had, I believe there was, I don't want to give an exact number, but I think we had about 25 panels at the first show. Mm-hmm. And one of them was about home growing. And the entire panel stage was packed, standing room only. So, there are people as well that maybe are not as familiar with certain subjects that do seem to attend and want to learn and have a good time.
Because I mean, even if my perspective is whether you are in favor of this industry, whether you're in favor of the legislation, whether you're in favor of legalization or not, or it's really irrelevant. This is the world we live in now, and to learn more about it and understand the world we live in is really, really important, because it's here, you're doing it, it's all around you, so you can't just put blinders on. You got to sort of embrace the knowledge, even if you're not part of the culture, but to know about it is important.
Exactly, and part of an event like this as well, I think, helps erase the stigma for people when they see that the event can go on, it can go on safely, people can have a great time, they go and tell their friends, and everybody understands that now that it is legal, it is like as you mentioned, it's a part of everyday life.
It's our culture
and
now.
It can be celebrated. There is an older stigma with it that part of the goal of the event is to erase that as well.
Okay, let's do the nuts and bolts, James. Time, place, cost, etc. Just so everybody knows how this is playing out.
Yeah, Saturday, April 23rd. So this Saturday at the Niagara Falls Convention Center, which is located at 6815 Stanley Avenue in Niagara Falls, Canada. You can get your tickets online right now at NiagaraFalls420expo.com. We have general admission tickets available that are going fast. We have a very, very limited number of VIP tickets left. And then tickets are available at the door on Saturday.
What's the cost?
Tickets start at $20 plus tax and fees and go up for a little bit higher for VIPs. But again, we only have a few of those. But yeah, tickets available at the door. Get your tickets. We recommend everybody buy in advance to try and get you get in quicker. If you buy tickets in first, you're the first ones to get served in line. We don't open up door sales until after ticket holders are in to make sure people who bought in advance get the little advantage there.
Cool. James Ponce, thank you for joining us. Good luck with the event. Nice to see you operating again. It's nice to be able to have these events again and have the public interacting with all of the vendors and the distributors and the exhibitors and you guys as well. So thanks for being here, and Godspeed with the event. Hope it works well for you.
Thanks, Lee. It's good to be back, and we're going to see you there.
Maybe so.
Well, let us know.
I haven't penciled anything into my agenda for Saturday, but maybe so.
Well, 10 a.m. if you have time, come on by, and we'll make sure we get you in.
I don't get up till 9:30. I'm old.
Oh, there you go. You got some time to relax.
Yeah,
and come
maybe later.
Thanks a lot, Lee.
Okay, man. See ya.
Take care, guys.
Yeah, bye. All right. Great to see these events and activities happening again, Kevin. It's just 2020. We would have never dreamed back in 2019 that we would be excited about being able to go to an expo or a convention or something, because there's always another convention around the corner. But now we're excited about getting out to these things.
And just like James, I hope with each convention, the stigma is just brought down a little bit, right?
Exactly.
Lee, here's something that we teased. We're going to get to David Green in a couple of minutes, but I know you wanted to talk about. And speaking of stigmas, I think stigma was kind of shrouded in the story of the two girls that went to the convenience store.
Indeed, and it caught my attention for two reasons. Well, the story itself, which was interesting, and then the number of comments and the reaction from Niagara 411ers that got my attention. So here's the story. Tonight about 7:30, my older daughter walked my younger daughter to the store to buy her a treat. Nice, right? So while walking, they noticed a man driving in the opposite direction. He stopped driving and watching them, so they walked into the store, and by the time they were at the counter to pay for the man had walked in to the store. Okay. While my daughter paid for her little sister's treat, the man says, "Wow, can I have $5? And my daughter looked at him and said no, kind of weirded out, and he says, "Oh, that's too bad. If you would have said yes, I would have given you $100. My youngest daughter got closer to her sister, and they turned and walked down an aisle in the store and ran back home to tell me what had happened. We made a police report, and the owners of the store have reviewed the camera footage. The man is about 5.5 feet tall, 45 to 50 years old, stocky build, dark hair, and an accent. The workers said they're pretty sure he's Croatian. Well, who knows? He drives a black 4-door Hyundai, possibly an accent, in the area of Linwell Road in Lakeport. Now, this is a stone's throw from my house, from where I live. If you could notify the public of this happening in this area, that'd be great. There are a lot of young teenagers and kids in this area. Okay, Kevin, so We've tossed around all kinds of scenarios as people have probably over their dinner tables about this, but there's 555 comments on this post, 1,000 shares, and 905 either likes or emojis or whatever in reaction to this post. Okay, so first of all, we have an older gentleman, well, he's not older, 45 to 50, older gentleman as far as the girls are concerned, in a store with them, and has this, what could be on the surface, nothing more than a cute conversation. Hello, like, because, I mean, people like to talk to kids just because they're kid people, they're nice people. Maybe, and says, can I have $5? Oh, too bad, because I would have, and it's a little joke. It's a nice, friendly kind of conversation with the kids. You know where I'm coming with this. It's just like no ill intent. On the flip side of that coin is the part of the story where, if true, the girls are walking to the store and the car is coming in the opposite direction, and then this fellow that was driving the car, I don't know how that exactly is actually verified, but as the story goes, he was driving in the opposite direction and then ends up in the store, so it would appear that he made an intentional decision to go into the store when he saw the girls going into the store, and then chatted with them, which is in that genre creepy and inappropriate. And those are your two black and white scenarios. A totally innocent interaction between an older man and a couple of girls, and he's kind of having a fun conversation with them on one side. The other side, some intentional interaction with little girls because he saw them on the street and going into the store. I don't know where I come down on this one, Kevin. I don't know. But it garnered so much response from the public, and as the mom said, she reported to the police, which is the right thing to do. I mean, you got to go back to Sandra's point. You can't just take things for granted. You've got to pay attention to what's happening around your children. So that's okay. And now they've reviewed the video at the store. We don't have any result of what that is all about. But this is a really good indication of how our society has changed. 30, 40 years ago, nobody would have thought anything about it. Just an older guy in a store having a kind of a jocular conversation with a couple of kids. And now it is something potentially tragic or dangerous or criminal, or I don't know, Kevin. I don't know where to come down on this. You're not saying anything.
I've got no more to say.
You have two young children.
I'm right there alongside you. It's one or the other. And I don't know if, based on that story, I can label this man as a sexual predator. We all, as you mentioned, something 40, 50 years ago, well, given the guy's age, he grew up in that generation where 40, 50 years ago, these conversations wouldn't be perceived as to be weird.
Yeah.
But today, there's a different connotation given what we know. So
here I go back to I keep talking about dog walking, but I see and learn a lot when I'm walking. About that, because I live in a neighborhood where there are children and they're walking to school in the morning at about the same time I'm walking my dog, between 8:15 and 8:45 or whatever it is like that. And I walk by quite a number of children that are walking on their way to school. And believe it or not, I ask myself, especially if there is a girl, the boys, well, I don't know why I think that, but I guess it's just one of those things. Anyway, and I can see, and I'm walking towards these young people, and I wonder to myself, do I say good morning to them? Do I say hello? Do I just ignore them? Is it going to feel weird to them if I say, good morning, guys? Or, like, I don't know. I'm not sure how I'm going to be perceived. Now, I've got a dog, so I guess they must figure I'm kind of safe, but I still don't know. These are the strange things we live with today. David Green, well-known comic in the area, well-known comedy event organizer in the area as well. And the next one coming up is something that Kevin and I were talking about earlier that I think this one could really have some legs. The Garden City Comedy Festival is coming up. 4 nights, 5 stages, 20-plus great comics. And here to tell us all about it is our pal David Green. Dave, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Bob, I'm great. How about you?
I couldn't be better. Well, I could be better, but nobody wants to listen, least of all you. Is it my understanding that you have an ever larger growing family?
There's my wife, one daughter, and another one on the way very soon.
That's what I thought. August, is that it?
Yeah, August 20th.
All right, you better keep being funny, buddy. You got a lot going on.
I know, you got me a word. I feel like I got to get a dog now after that last story. I got to be on my game.
I know, you got to get a dog.
Yeah.
It opens up a huge realm of opportunity for you. Anyway, congratulations on the potential new addition to the Green family.
Thank you.
And also congratulations on your absolute dedication and commitment to your craft here in Niagara. A relentless pursuit of humor. That sometimes isn't so funny for you. It's a pretty serious pursuit at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, we've had a few setbacks these last year. We had a pandemic which shut us all down, and we had to go through the Zoom shows, and then we finally got a new venue rocking, and then the whole venue burned down. So it's been setback after setback, but we're plugging along.
Wait a minute, we had a pandemic?
A little bit. I don't know if you heard.
All right, so. Glad to have you with us, and yeah, kudos to you and your community for fighting your way through all of this stuff over the last 3 years. It's been bizarre. The Garden City Comedy Festival. Tell us about it.
So I'm super excited to finally bring it back. So we've done it. It's actually our 7th year, but it's our 4th. We were just about to have our 4th annual, right, and we got shut down right before when the pandemic shut down, March 2020.
Right.
So the last 2 years we've been doing outdoor shows and different events, but finally we're coming back with our marquee gala night at the First Ontario Performing Arts Centre.
Great.
Just down the street from you. So cannot wait for that. We're working together with Women's Place South Niagara, as we've done in the past, to raise money for all the hard work they do there for the community. So also just going to be down the street. We're going to be on a rooftop patio, which is pretty exciting, underneath the stars.
Where?
Down at the Niagara Artist Centre.
Great.
Just down the street at the Neck. Yep. So there'll be 2 shows that night. We're going to do a street party. We've got Bedunka Funk coming down from Hamilton. Okay. He's just one man, but he has a loop pedal and pianos and guitars. And somehow he puts it all together and does this hilarious funky music. So we're going to have giveaways and prizes out on the street. And then a fundraiser at nighttime. And then just further down the street too, at Marte Cafe, we've got Jeff Leeson, festival favorite, coming down to kick off the show down at Marte Cafe on June 1st. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Different shows all around St. Catharines. So excited to be back at it and celebrating all the awesome comedy that's been happening in Niagara.
Dave, how have you priced this? How do the tickets and the attendance costs work and all that?
So we have shows on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Those shows are all $20. And then our gala night at the Pack, as you can see in my background here, that is $40 tickets for those shows.
Yeah, where is that you're in?
At the First Ontario Performing
That is the Performing Arts Centre.
That's Mr. Joe Pillateri there, emceeing our gala. So he'll be the MC again this year.
Oh, awesome. Joe is great.
It's always a great sold-out event. It's always a ton of fun.
Joe is absolutely great. And he does this on his own time, on his own dime. And he is a great communitarian, if there is such a word.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Niagara Lake Citizen of the Year.
You know, and congratulations to Joe for that, Joe Pillateri. Very funny man. Gosh, he's funny. he's one of these. He's one of the comics that people think they could be. Like, he's one of those guys that makes a really difficult job look easy. Like, being a stand-up comic is not an easy thing.
Yeah.
But he makes it look like anybody could do it, and that's something that he and you and the others in that business share, is the fact that it's not an easy world to live in, but the people that do it well make it look easy, and that's
he has that real connection with the audience. So he's not just telling jokes at them; it's sort of community, all the audience coming together. Yeah. So it's not just it's like everybody's laughing, but it's just a feeling of good vibes and community in the room. It's a celebration. So he's one of the best at it, and
a perfect choice as an MC, because he will be the perfect guy to sort of blend everything together. David, these are not only labors of finance; they are labors of love for you, but they're also labors of finance. I mean, people can't do this without having to make a living. How do you see? Where do you see the comedy business of Niagara going? And this is sort of where the rubber hits the road. This is the serious part of being. This is the serious part of comedy. Is Kevin and I were talking a little bit earlier. I mean, there are some very, very famous comedy festivals. There's the Just for Laughs thing that started in Montreal many years ago, and it's petered out a little bit, but there's still the Montreal Comedy Festival. When I was living in Winnipeg, some of the headliner comedies from around the planet would come for the 4-day Winnipeg Comedy Festival, and it was in the concert hall there. And the Performing Arts Center, there is no better place for a stand-up comedy style show than the Performing Arts Center. It's absolutely spectacular for shows like this. As a business, not just for you, but as a draw, as a destination for Niagara, do you see this thing like the Garden City Comedy Festival, for example, growing into something of that stature?
To be honest with you, that is the whole point and reason of the birthing of the Garden City Comedy Festival. The vision was to grow it to the heights of the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival and the Winnipeg Comedy Festival. I saw once they built the first Ontario Performing Arts Centre, which is a world-class venue.
It is.
But not only that, down the street, you have the Meridian Centre as well. So our long-term goal was 10, 20 years down the line, once we've grown, established the festival, to have shows, big-name acts at the Performing Arts Centre, and then huge international headliners at the Meridian Centre as well. So to make St. Catharines and the Garden City one of the comedy draws all across the world. Because right now, Niagara is booming compared to the last few years since we first started. Like for tomorrow night, there are 5 professional shows happening on one night in Niagara. There's at Camp Cataract, have the Camp Laugh Off final show. Yuck Yucks have their show. Showtime Comedy have Jeff Paul performing. In Niagara on Lake at the Exchange Brewery, we have a sold-out humor and hop show. And there's one more as well in Niagara Falls. At the Hose Brigade, Jason Allen is in Niagara Falls.
Oh, good. You got it. Good for you.
Yeah, it's all over. So everybody's a rising tide lifts all ships, you know? So all the comedy scenes is growing together, and I just excites me so much, the potential. That's why I love how having the festival has a celebration of all that comedy has grown, and we can have one night at the Performing Arts Centre to celebrate that and have a nice after party afterwards and have a good time.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, behind every movement is a mover, and you're the guy for this. And I know you don't do it alone. I know there are other people, but still, you're the one that's blowing the horn the loudest for these things, and we thank you for that, because I just have this feeling that you'll hit that mark. I think you'll get there. I really do.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. And I appreciate helping to spread the word, too. Really
My
helps.
pleasure. Okay, Garden City Comedy Festival. All you have to do is Google it. You'll find it, and all the information is there. David Green, once again, congratulations on the pending new arrival to the Green family. My condolences to your wife for having to put up with you, and have yourself a great weekend when it gets here.
Thanks, buddy. You too. All the best.
Bye, Dave. I sincerely feel, Kevin, that there could be like those internationally renowned comedy festivals are huge. They become televised events. They become reruns over time. I mean, look at how many times you can turn on your television and see a Just for Laughs segment that took place God knows how many years ago.
You're absolutely right. We have a perfect confluence right here in St. Catharines and Niagara. I mean, it's a worldwide destination, so comics want to come here. You know, they want to come to Niagara.
Well, we've got the casino venues as well.
They also like getting paid. So you combine those two things. Hey, want to come to Niagara, and we're going to pay you.
And, that's a good... You mean there's money?
And I mean, already he's got Mike Wilmot there as the headliner of the gala. I don't know about his international appeal, but in Canada, I mean, he's been one of our best funny man for years. Yeah. For years and years. I saw Sean Cullen at the gala of the Garden City Comedy Festival.
I haven't heard that name in a while.
And that was pre-pandemic. So unfortunately, built a lot of momentum, and the pandemic kind of pulled the rug out from under him, same as the 420 guys. But like you, I believe that David and the community are going to be able to grow this into a 10 or 20-year vision.
Well, David's not going to. He's not going to stop.
No, it's great.
He's not going to stop.
And you know what? Great branding too. Garden City Comedy Festival. It's perfect.
Even if at some point in time it becomes large enough that it spreads to other cities, you can still brand it as whatever it is. I mean, it's like the Olympics. You're going to have the Olympics in Seoul, but they're also in cities all over the place.
Right.
So the comedy thing could be the same. That's just awesome. Good.
Hey, Lee,
good on you.
Couple of notes here about the program. Number one, coming up to wrap up the show today, we're going to feature a music video by Mel Monaco and the song called "Let's Do This."
Okay.
And we featured some of Mel's music before. I really love the effort that she puts into her videos. So stick around for that as we feature more Niagara talent.
Yep.
And your roll called some birthdays there. It was the Queen's birthday today, I believe, right?
Queen 96th birthday
Which,
today.
For my wife, always reminded me that her late, great ma mère, her grandmother, it was her birthday today as well. On the same day, I believe, like same day, same year as the Queen. And it's also
my youngest son's birthday today.
It's also Nick's mom's birthday today.
Is it Nick's mom's birthday?
It is.
Wow! Happy birthday, Nick's mom. That's cool. Well done.
Lee, I know we really talked about this just briefly, but it's just kind of I don't know if it's a funny story, it's a sad story, and somebody's on the loose, but
I still don't even know if I even understand it.
Well, let's see if we can understand it together.
It's okay, thank you. It's a little... 3 people arrested, woman wanted, following kidnapping in Markham. Okay, we're doing a Niagara show, and this is Markham?
Well, no, the woman wanted is from Niagara Falls.
I know. I'm getting there. But you might say, okay, why are they talking about Markham? Well, investigators in York have charged 3 people and are looking for a woman wanted on a warrant following a kidnapping in the city of Markham. So on the 14th, a few days ago, officers got information from the city of Montreal regarding a possible female victim of a kidnapping. All right, now we got Montreal in here. Officers learned that the victim had been gambling with a female suspect, who suggested that the victim could borrow money from a company she knew of that provided large loans. Oh, wow! Match made in heaven! The victim borrowed can't you see this train wreck coming? The victim borrowed a significant amount of money, but lost all of it while gambling. Oh, what a surprise. The suspects held the victim against her will while demanding payment. So they suggested that, correct me if I'm wrong, they suggested she could borrow money, right, Kev?
Yeah.
She borrowed money. Then she lost it.
Well, yeah.
Then they hold her because they want her to pay them back. Is this where this is?
That's
so
pretty
far
much the story. Yeah.
Okay. So on the 15th, officers located the victim at a hotel in Markham where she was being held by the suspects. How they got there, I don't know. She was not physically injured. 3 of the suspects were taken into custody, but a 4th female suspect remains outstanding. A warrant was, and here's where Niagara comes in, right? A warrant was issued for her arrest, and investigators are asking anyone with information on her location or any information on the investigation to come forward, and this is the girl from Niagara Falls. Here's the Niagara connection. Bing Han, 44 years of age, of Niagara Falls, charged with kidnapping.
And I assume that is...
One could only assume. But again, one of those fantastic CCTV pictures. You're not really going to pick her out of a lineup.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that if you lent money to a woman in need that was gambling, that she might gamble it away?
Yeah. Okay. One of the things I want to, before we get to the musical thing, and I'm not going to out this person because it was a legitimate post that he put up on Niagara 411, but it just got me. He was on the 406. He was driving in what he called the fast lane. Okay? One would assume that would be the left lane of the highway, heading towards St. Catharines. He said heading south towards St. Catharines, but that would be north anyway. But, correct? Am I correct about this? Okay, and he's passing a pickup truck. Then another pickup truck comes up, and he's going real fast. And so this guy picks up speed so he can get by this other truck, which is great. That's okay. But then the guy he stayed in that lane, and the other truck, I think, as I read it correctly, sort of scooted, did one of these. Kind of a dangerous maneuver. My point here is the left lane of a 4-lane major highway is not called the fast lane. It's called the passing lane. So once you're past, no matter how fast you're going, you're supposed to move over. So the people that are going a lot faster than you go by. It's not called the fast lane unless you're an Eagles fan. It's called the passing lane. Okay, I
got a feeling
I just had to get that out there.
That you're the guy doing 105 in the passing lane, and I'm riding your bumper.
No, I don't.
That's you.
I move over.
Actually, you know what? I move over
I
too.
drive. I move. I don't care if I'm going over the speed limit.
Even if you're going 130.
What I'm saying, the concept is I'm going 120, I'm going 130, or whatever it is. I might be speeding, so I deserve to be in the left lane. Well, no, you don't, unless you're passing somebody. Go 120 or 130 in the other lane.
I don't know why the police don't do more of like a public service movement on that. It's pretty simple. Look to your right. If you're not passing anybody, move right.
I just wanted to correct the grammar. It's not the fast lane, it's the passing lane. There's a big difference. All right, I'm done now.
And I'm looking at a couple of slow lanes right there.
Now I'm going to get hate mail.
A couple slow lanes. Remember when that used to be one direction? Look at that now. Traffic moving both ways.
You know what?
What a foreign concept.
I would love to, because my whole life, St. Paul Street was one way until a few years ago when they changed it. And because business consultants will always say, two-way streets in a downtown is always better for business, because a one-way street, all it is a way through, right? I would be really interested if there had been, and there's probably somebody at the city has done some sort of survey or study or something to figure out whether the change of St. Paul Street to two-way has actually been good for business or bad. I don't know.
There's so many other factors in that time frame, like
but I think when
they're investing, Performing Arts Center, Meridian Center,
exactly.
All that stuff.
When you've got the things like that, the Performing Arts Center, the Brock School for the Arts, Meridian Center, I think the two-way thing is a must.
Dunk, yeah.
It's a must.
Absolutely. And Lee, we mentioned it's going to be a busy day today downtown. Big dance competition at the Performing Arts Center. and we've got Glorious Suns tonight at the Meridian Center. So if you're looking for a place to hang and get a good bite, come down here to Fiddler's Poorhouse.
Thank you, Gales Gas Bars, for fueling the program. Thank you, Performance Heating and Air and Virgin Insurance Group, for supporting us. Kevin Jack, co-founder of WeeStream and executive producer of this program. You always do great work. I love working with you, and it's nice to do it again this week. We have a programming note. Next week, this program, just in case you pencil this in on your calendar, which you probably don't, but next week we are airing on Friday, correct? The 29th? Okay. Because Kevin's got some important stuff.
Hey, WeeStream's busy. WeeStream gets busy.
Anyway, we'll do the show next Friday. But if you tune in Thursday, we're not here. Don't worry, we'll be there on Friday. Watch all this week on Niagara 411 for the In Case You Missed It posts of Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry, because we keep putting those things up. In case you missed an interview or a part or whatever, it'll be up there. And we're going to Mel Monaco, and Let's Do This is going to play us off the stage. It's been a pleasure having you here. Thank you to all of our guests, Kassandra DJ of Medić Automotive, James Ponce. Good luck with the 420 Expo. David Green, Garden City Comedy Festival. Everybody, thanks for being here. Bye.
Travel far, travel wide, travel up and down. Travel thinking I knew what I was doing, making a sound, but it doesn't bear consequence. Turn to tears to help me make sense of things I thought I knew and what I had yet to learn. Things about and what I've been well learned. Wrapped around but only I can see the past, future, present, all on me. Let's go to the place I'm thinking that I've already seen. Let's do this. Let's go breathe. Let's go to the place I'm thinking that I've already been. Let's do this. Let's go see. Let's go to the place I'm thinking that I've already seen. Keeping track of